Hey everybody, Rodamon here. Thanks for tuning in to the Philosopher King, a RimWorld royalty series about being a benevolent ruler in a benevolent society. Here is some of those rules that our ruler wants us to follow. And then, of course, the projects that you all have voted on in weeks previous. As you can see here, the second Psycaster has been taken off the list. I already have that. But my wildcard has become Construct a Godswood. If you're not sure what a Godswood is, it is a place within a castle to respect nature gods, I guess. But of course, I'm taking it under my own interpretation. So, speaking of the Godswood, let's get the walls constructed. John mentioned that I was doing it the wrong way, and I was. I should just keep the tree highlighted and paint around it. And this is going to allow me to very quickly create a boundary wall. Now, this boundary wall isn't really designed to keep raiders out. I don't really mind if sappers or raiders, etc. enter here. It is mostly to retain fire, and then also to maybe keep wild animals from grazing inside of there. Now, it's very unlikely that wild animals would ever really want to consume, the anima grass. The anima grass is not in any way an important source of, or a decent source of nutrients, but there you have it. So, here is our little Godswood building. We laid that out. Obviously, we need to mine out a corner. Now, to recap last episode here, we ended with the destruction of this mech cluster, but not fully. Of course, we still have some mini slugger turrets, and in about 4 days' time, the psychic suppressor gets flipped on. What I'm going to do is to leave... Ooh, guest unhappy. I don't like that. To leave the psychic suppressor for when Talon is fully healed up, because he's pretty instrumental in blowing those things down. Let's get the turrets off. We are still, of course, continuing on the permanent defenses, the drawbridge of sorts. 57 Thorns made a joke that the drawbridge is just upside down, with the roofs coming down on the would-be raiders, rather than the inverse, where the drawbridge is pulled up. I suppose that is apt. And then Pandemonia mentioned that Arvanath is not wearing a shield belt, but probably should be. So, what I'm going to do is create a new outfit. Going to create a pacifist outfit. We will say, what do we want? I want her to probably be in the least amount of armor, but with a shield belt, because she should probably never lose. She should probably never have her armor broken through, right? So no armor whatsoever. We're just gonna say duster, pants, button-down shirt, and where is the shield belt? Shield belt. And this is for Arvanath. Arvanath is the pacifist. So the reason why no armor, right now she is wearing a flak vest. It's unnecessary. It reduces move speed, but in any ideal scenario, she would never actually be hit, so we'll take that off. Alright, Talon and Arvanath need... Oh, that's because they are restricted to home. Alright, so let's unrestrict them. We got a Shoot Frenzy and an Aurora. Alright, Bubbaloo Zone. And then we have Non-Bloodlust and Bloodlust. There we go. Rezone them proper, I think. I don't believe Bloodlust is needed anymore, because that really only existed to restrict my guys from getting too close to the mech cluster that was idle. So we'll flip that off, or just remove it, meaning that Mathis and Zero are now free to roam about the whole map. And then, of course, our animals can be lifted from their restrictions as well. Also, Shay and Fostupia are still on their trek home with a crazy amount of supplies. I'm very happy about what they're bringing home. So, I'm eager to get that done. We are still stripping up the last of this monument here. And then we will build the monument retention wall. This is just a spot so that we can have monuments in the future without having to rebuild retaining walls and the like. Alright, so Erebanath is indeed wearing a shield belt now. Zero just made a backup. As you can see, the animals here very much attracted to the Godswood. Alright, so probably animal hauling should not include the path either, or the path is going to get filthy pretty quickly. Task is Catch of Fortune. Luciferium and a neuro trainer of medical. Okay. That's interesting. Now, I'm not saying that that is worthless or whatever. Oh, you know what? Damien, you are... That's not good. Alright, let's finish up the... Quit shooting my warg, buddy. I forgot that animal hauling doesn't allow... Nope, Klein, don't do that. Alright, so animals. Everybody go to grazing. Because they're getting shot. I'm very lucky that he wasn't harmed further. Let's just say I sort of forgot that there were many slugger turrets that the animals might run into, and there's all this plasteel and components that they definitely want to... get next to. But those of us that have shield belts need nothing to worry. I haven't showed you water skip yet, so I will queue up a water skip in just a second here. That should be fun and interesting. And we are about to get rid of the whole mech cluster. That was pretty easy. This mech cluster, very much destroyed by its own unstable power cells. I really didn't do very much to it. I shelled it a little. Very, very little. Alright, let's go ahead and remove the barricades that they dropped on us, but leaving the concrete barrier posts and the like. So here's what water skip looks like. Just poof, and a whole lot of water. It does cause a bit of heat, so you can't skip too much. I would find it more useful if your turrets are on fire, or it was about to spread to mortar shells or something like that, but... in most instances, it is limitedly useful because of the amount of charge or focus it requires versus the effective area that it douses. But of course, you know, situationally it could be helpful. I will not deny that. Alright, so the Godswood here. Let's go ahead and just have, I don't know, some auto doors. And we are going to airlock it. Don't ask me why. I don't know. And then another thing we could do is add in some nature shrines around it once the rest of the Godswood is constructed. As you can see, the nature shrine will be impacted, as you can see by the walls. So if I really wanted to do this right, I would expand the walls out even further. But we're not necessarily praying to the shrine. We're sort of praying to... Maybe I will set this up differently. Already met with regret. I mean, if we're going to do it, we might as well do it right? Alright, so first things first, let's get large nature shrines. But I'm going to make the nature shrines out of non-flammable materials. So maybe what I'll do is I'll set up 4 of them in the 4 corners. How many blocks does it require? Let's do limestone, marble. I don't know if I have the... No, I don't have the slate. Slate and granite. I'll just manage it. I'll figure it out how to do it. We'll just have to cut more granite. So we'll set it up so that it looks more shrine-like. Ah, Chris got himself on fire. Christopher, why? Okay. Well, if you're already out here, let's haul in those components. And soon, I suspect, yeah, we're getting pretty close to the animal grass required for next push, which is exciting. It is officially the 1st of summer. I never, I guess, checked in on Damien. Oh, yeah, you're okay. Alright, animals, all back to hauling. Having a little bit of a brownout here. Let me figure out why. It might be the fact that I had an extended eclipse. But there doesn't seem to be any power interruptions. No cut cables or anything like that. So I'm actually sort of curious why I dropped on power. Yeah, I honestly don't even know. But it's going back up now. So at the moment we are hunting a whole lot of creatures, which means the progress we're making on the shrine is pretty limited. Faustupia and Shay are just a day away. We can, of course, now use the long-range mineral scanner to tune in for different materials, like plasteel or uranium, which is the lifeblood of defending ourselves against mechs, for sure. Without plasteel and uranium, we're going to really lack a lot of the best sort of arms and armor to defend ourselves against would-be mechs. So here we go. I think we are making prestige recon armor for Bubbaloo. I believe that's what Zero is in the process of doing. And in the interest of constructing this in a reasonable time frame, I'm going to make it all limestone, for better or for worse. We have a lot of limestone chunks at the ready. And not so much of, and a ton of limestone blocks, and not a whole lot of other things. I'm just trying to build up a healthy stockpile of animal corpses so that we don't run into any deficits. But it looks like we might need to do some cooking. I'll probably get... Oh, Ambernath is already doing it. Make kibble. Let's drop it on the floor because I'm fairly certain the animals will haul it for us. Oh, come on, Evernath. Another thing I probably have to do is to raise the priority. So kibble comes first. Perfect. Making sure that the pups have enough kibble. Pretty important. We could raise the kibble amount up to 600 if I wanted to. I might take it to 500 just so that there's some overhead. Or maybe like 520. Because I don't want it to spill over and go into excess. So, the large nature shrines can stand in... Oh, that's not good. That's the whole pack. When you've got a red warning, it means all of them want to kill you. Whereas if you have a sort of yellowy orange warning, it means only some. So I knew immediately that it was a full swarm of wild boars because of the color of the warning here. Why are these propped open? That doesn't seem sound. Now these are all manhunters. They're not necessarily going to come after my pets. So I'm just going to juke and jive until the boars die. Pork delivery, right? Oops. That was entirely my fault. And truly avoidable. Alright. Well, there goes that swarm. Making sure to turn off the turrets to save us power. Although it looks like our battery's refilled pretty quick, so I don't actually know what that was about. Zero is in the process of making prestige recon armor for Babalu. We researched cryo-sleep caskets. So at this point, we don't really need Starflight basics ever. The idea is to leave the planet with the Stellark, meaning that we're not building our own ship. We're just, you know, catching a ride with her once we are ready. So we can set that to rest, I suppose. Faustopia and Shay are now home. That will really help to increase our throughput, our work throughput. And unfortunately, Arvanath just formed a psychotic addiction. All right, let's see social drugs. So one of the reasons here, I think she's really young, yes. One of the side effects of being really young, under, I believe it is 18, because they're a child, not an adult, is see their food needs they're not all the way up to 1.0. It's 8.85. So the net result is they metabolize drugs more slowly, and as a result, can become addicted more easily. So Arvanath was on the same scheduled drugs as everyone else, but became addicted because she's smaller, essentially. That's the sort of the long and short of it. So right now she has a, wow, quite the tolerance. I should have probably caught that a little bit earlier, but I'll put her on no drugs and she'll have to go cold turkey. It's not benevolent of me to get a young girl hooked on drugs. So I apologize for that. Was not my intent. Didn't expect it to happen. So our Damien the Warg is fully healed. We are getting some stone cutting in. If you wanted to know the... Oh, Stallion wants revenge. And then, of course, that revenge was not the red. So I think at this point we probably have enough hunts done that I'll focus on other things. Like the construction of these nature shrines, which don't seem to be centered. Maybe... Trying to figure out the best way to center it. Okay, so maybe they're all not centered. Yeah, one thing I could say about them is it's hard to tell where center is. I guess I'll have it overlap with the edge here. It's easy. It's not that hard to tell, but I'll have it overlap with the pathing. Okay. So we don't forcibly break these down piecemeal. I'll just have Mathis queue up all of it. And then we'll get the rest of those floors pulled up soon too. I think I'm going to shrink the corpse zone for the barn just because so many creatures are being carried there. that it makes me feel like I need to do more hunting. Well, probably more than I actually need to do. We've swapped over some of the crops over to corn because they require less effort. Impossible Assembly. Empire Spirit. The rewards, Royal Favor. A lot of Royal Favor. Sure. I will do this. Because one of the goals here is, of course, to get Bubbaloo to count. So it is a goal of the entire series, which I suppose is important. I can't really tell where the door... Okay, so there's doors. This won't ever be symmetrical. There we go. It's placed. And this, once completed, will push Bubbaloo up to a count. Or another way to put it is high enough to trigger the Stellark travel mission, if you want to call it that. Shuttle has arrived. All right, let's have you get in that shuttle. And of course, a little reminder here: the rewards here is an advanced component, a little bit of silver. Not too much, but we're happy to do it. So there's our silver and advanced components. The animal prisoners, I wasn't ever really going to do. I don't have the capacity to house 18, nor would I really want to, because the quest rewards for that were kind of old. I mean, they were good. I'm not going to say they weren't good, but it was probably more effort than it was worth. I also took Airvanath off of the meditation spot here. Just having Bubbaloo and Talon, the only ones that actually truly benefit because of their Psycast level. I think what I'll do here is forbid the giant shrines so that we could work down here. The first thing I want to do is to create a little temporary zone to just pull up the remaining flooring here. So Mathis, I'll let them build the pathing here first, but then yeah, we'll pull up the flooring so that this doesn't become problematic. And then of course I need to place probably everything in limestone, because limestone is just what we have. If that's the case, what I really need to do is create a giant stockpile of limestone here. I probably shouldn't even move my limestone blocks, given that I make a lot of monuments, and just leave the limestone blocks near the construction part. So for this to be ideal, I would need to add this whole zone to animal hauling, regardless of the filth created, so that my animals can help to haul these limestone blocks, which I will not even allow in this zone, down to our new construction. I'm not going to place the blueprints until the floors get pulled up, though, so I'm going to wait on that. And another thing I'm going to need to do is build this retaining wall before I really start as well. Ooh, look at Bubbaloo. That's a nice helmet, my friend. It's very pretty. Wow, Free Dog, you have some plasteel keistered. What about the Wallen Varys? No? Where are they, anyway? Oh, no. They've been emptied. We have very... Oh, no, we have a little bit of granite blocks. We should be able to finish up the retaining wall. And our anima grass is climbing. Now, of course, if you had a huge tribe full of tribals, you could definitely grow anima grass much, much more quickly. With everybody meditating at it. It would require a significant amount of personnel, but, you know, it's doable. So you would like to purchase 790 Devil Strand, which I could definitely accommodate. An Infinite Chem Reactor is a very, very nice reward. Infinite Chem Reactor, if you're not familiar, it requires to be powered. And every, I believe it is, if memory serves, 15 days, it just generates chem fuel for you. However, the Uranium Advanced Components is probably what I'll accept for, because on this map tile, I have so many trees, and Infinite Chem Reactor is not all that helpful. And Tinaja is, oh wow, it is deep in the mountains. But yeah, I think I will accept that. And then the rewards here is Uranium Advanced Components. Again, this is probably a Faustopia and Shea Caravan required. With Free Dog, Varys, and the Wall to haul it. And I hope no more. I mean, it might be necessary to get like a Muffalo or two, or Stallion or something trained, because that might be a lot of hauling. All right, so Bubbaloo, the Psycaster, you're no longer going to be allowed to wear noble clothing. We're going to have you switch to the Prestige Recon Armor, which is going to help with Psi Focus a little bit more than the Robe. Animatree linking is ready to go. It's 8 in the morning. Oh, you know, actually it isn't. It would be ready to go if we were doing Airmanath, but it needs 20 grass for Talon. So we'll give that a moment. Wow, look at all of the materials hauled by our pets, but not hauled into the zone here. Oh, it looks like we are not building the retaining wall. What happened here? I don't know. Not building the retaining wall, we're building the welcoming gate walls. And I'd rather have this built so that we can finish the monument. Get our Bubbaloo up to count level. Okay. So if they're starting to repair... Ooh, rare thrumbos. Alright. I don't believe I have any taming benefit or anything like that. Bubbaloo, probably the Psycaster is forced, I'd imagine. So I'm going to unforce that. Okay, finally, we're building the retaining walls. Good. Alright, now Bubbaloo is in quite a lot of armor here. Should keep him pretty well protected. Why are we having a baby break risk? Airmanath, what's going on? Oh, Psych Out Withdrawal. Yes, that will be a problem for you. One that I will not fix for you. You have Alcohol Warmth? You shouldn't be drinking. You're scheduled for no drugs. Oh no, you're somehow scheduled for social drugs again. How did that happen? Must have been me. I mean, you know, as I'm the only one controlling the game, it would have to be me. Alright, so we're pulling up the remaining flooring and building the retaining walls, so now that the monument is safe. Looks to me like I'm going to need some more chem fuel. Get that up and going. And then I had everyone switch their guns over to rapid-firing weapons so that we can hunt the Thrumbo tomorrow. Looks like Chris here needs a bit of a toque. So we have another Cataphract helmet. So here we are. Let's see. Psy Brawler. Yep, that's your new So, helmet, prestige, recon armor, shield belt. And then, pretty much going to do the same thing. I don't really see how Psycaster and Cybrawler are any different, so I'm going to put Bubbaloo on Cybrawler. Because they're essentially the same thing. The shirt and vest should be allowed, but I don't think it will be prioritized. We'll see. We'll see. If they take off their armor, then yeah, that's a problem. Oh, dear. I left you guys out here for that long that you rotted? Royal Tribute Collector coming in. I don't have gold for them, so they're really not going to be able to collect very much, sadly for them. Alright, Yan Shui. Let's go clear this out so that the pets can actually start hauling again, because it was backed up entirely. And yeah, we're running out of tubes. So that signals to me that Zero needs to get tailoring. Right now, Zero, you're trying to build up our components, because I've been cranking through components. One of the problems of having a ton of auto doors all around your base is you will run through components pretty quickly. Components require, or rather a lot of auto doors, they do break down constantly, and they will require pretty regular maintenance to stay, you know, whole. So what I'm trying to do is just, yeah, Bubbaloo and Talon, you look all set. All right, so at this juncture, Abernath, you sit this one out, you little drug addict pacifist. Let's go ahead and shoot the Thrumbo. I'm sorry if you like Thrumbo, but I don't have an Inspired Tame, and I'm not running that risk. So here we go. Talon has enough to link with the tree. Where the, okay, the second one is in the kill box, third one is up north. I'm going to do the one up north first. It's, what, 2 p.m.? Let's begin linking ritual. Talon will go to Psycaster 3. And Bubbaloo, I actually want you protecting my shooters. The ability to skip brawling enemies, like Thrumbo or really any enemy brawler, is unbelievably powerful. So they're obviously going to the Royal Tribute, and I can skip this Thrumbo away. Alright, so there are 3 Thrumbo, all down. The rest of the flooring is cleared, so let's go limestone tile, limestone walls, limestone columns, limestone doors, limestone sarcophaguses, and that is a lot of tiles. But I guess I could have just right-clicked to place blueprints. So now it's all in limestone, and we have 2,000 limestone sitting here ready to go because of all the animal hauling that we had going. Maybe I'll even expand this out a little bit just to make sure that we have enough. So animal hauling goes bigger. Area 1 can be removed. They defloored on their own. Another thing I need to do is to cut plants with Yan Shui here, just making sure that all of the trees that would be in the way are gone, because she cuts plants a lot faster than, like, the average constructor. Alright, so those, I believe, are all the shells I asked for. Yep. Need some incendiary shells, but they'll come in due time. Alright, Talon is now done linked. He has Chaos Skip, learned, locked down. That's great. And we are working on this little monument. Not that little. Oh, and a heat wave coming in. So it is mid-summer, so this heat wave is going to do probably a lot of, well, it won't be great. I'll put it that way. Let's also make sure never to put a roof over any of this. I don't really want it roofed up. The reason being, of course, that under a roof, you don't have direct sunlight, which means that it's, you work slower. Wow, you've been wandering a while, Missy. Not having a line cook. Kind of a problem. Oh, also, the, there she goes. Because of the butchering of the Thrumbo, some of the stuff spilled over. Here, you get to haul this. Congratulations. You've been AWOL for a while. It looks so clean when there's no siegrass. What kind of... So, the quest called for 790 Devil Strand. Shay and Faustopia. You want to get going on this? What kind of weapons do you have? You have long range... Okay, they have the correct weapons. Let's go load. Let's launch group of 4. Shay. Faustopia. All the haulers. Package survival meals. Kibble. I will send the 790 Devil Strand. And then I'm also going to send all the other leathers, and this is just for standard trade. It'll take them a while to load it up. Some herbal meds for the road. The double bedroll. The Thrumbo horn for trade. And then some of the clothing that looks like it has been through some wear and tear. I'm keeping the L-Tech stuff because I can't manufacture it myself, but the other stuff that I am able to manufacture, I might as well sell off. All right, anything else? There should be a grand statue in this queue somewhere as well. Yeah, we're good. Oh, we are over capacity, so never mind. All right, and then what I'm going to do is crank everyone into a one haul so that we can get more hands to help load the pods, because that was a lot of stuff going into those pods. Yeah, they would have been loading up for a long time. So this gives us advanced components in uranium. Both of which I need dearly. Okay, we should be almost set. What are we waiting on? Done. All right, so it was this settlement, Tanaja, and we're going to visit. Let's go ahead and... we gonna need 0 to do some additional Jeep Trail. All right, so fulfill trade order. Done. We're way over our mass here. Let's go with a trade. I might actually... Well, we'll see. We'll see. That was a lot of uranium. Most of which I don't have the capacity to haul. Those pants weren't tattered at all, so I'm going to keep them. All right. Healing Enhancer, Psychic Reader, both of which I wouldn't mind. And then uranium. I'm going to have to get rid of a significant amount of it unless I send some additional haulers, which I currently don't have. But what I could do is flash tame some muffalo, and because they're pretty easy to tame, and just send them. So, work schedules. Haul is up. Animal handling is now going to be a top priority. And I'm going to have Faustopia and Shay just sort of sit here and wait for additional animal haulers to be sent to them. A strange tactic. I probably should have done the math and figured out would it be an immobile caravan ahead of time, but I didn't. So there we go. We got 1 muffalo already tamed. I think probably 4 more muffalo might be enough. There's 2. Unfortunately for these muffalo, I don't really intend to keep them. Which sounds a little cruel, but 'tis my plan. Now, what am I low on? I wouldn't. It wouldn't be a bad idea to some psychoid leaves and maybe some hubs. Get that going again. Man, Zero has so many so much work to be done. She is always busy. All right, so for animals, these new muffalo, we're going to put them in the grazing zone. Chris has inspired taming, so let's go with work. Chris, you are already set to animal handle. Perfect. It's too bad that he didn't have inspired taming when there were Thrumbo on the map tile. Although his animal handling skill, no, I think it would have allowed us to tame a Thrumbo. Oh well. Now there is a way to keep Thrumbos that are passing through on your map tile. It's to knock them unconscious. Uh-oh. It's to knock them unconscious and then to aid them. So we dug a little too deep. We're triggering infestation swarms. And I put all of the animals into the barn. Evernath, you don't even need to be here. In fact, go cook. Yeah. It's mostly speleopedes. I definitely have their attention, so I'm going to nest into my defenses. Like this. Okay, these are uranium turrets. They could take a licking. Mathis, I don't know what I was doing to you. But I fixed it. Chris, let's have you back up. Alright, Chris needs a little bit of help. Bubbaloo, go aid. Actually, Chris is doing an okay job, but Bubbaloo, you still need to help. Evernath, don't go that way. Okay, these turrets are pretty close to exploding, so let's have them not explode. I believe that's it. little sloppy, but the end results are fine. Everyone survived. The rest of these, hunt. And then, if I recall correctly, here's what I'm going to do. Barn corpses are only going to allow insect corpses for a bit, for the duration of the, Yep. We'll allow insect corpses into the main one, but we're going to say barn corpses are preferred, yes. So, preferably, we'll have insects stored in... the animal bunker. Oh, so a bunch of spellipedes got back up. Kind of awkward. Zero finished 2 of them off. There's still a third. But I'm not going to worry about that too much. Well, guys, that is about all the time I have for this episode. It really went by quick. I'm very excited to get more of the Godswood built and all of those nature shrines. Additionally, the monument in the south, and this giant trade caravan. I have a lot of projects, irons in the fire, if you will. If you have any tips, tricks, feedback for me, do drop me a line in the comments below. I really appreciate it and love when I end up using your tips. So thank you to Pandemonia and John for your tips for this episode. I'll catch you all next time. Adios, friends.